Today's experiment is in drum tuning, and I'm going to be tuning my entire 7-piece kit with all new heads. For the toms, I'll be using a clear Evans G2 head for the top head, and for the bottom head I'll be using a Remo Ebony Ambassador head, which is supposed to give it a warmer, more balanced tone. It's my first time using these. And I'm also going to be going for tuning to specific notes as well for the first time. I'm going to be going for an E minor tuning, since most of the songs that I play with my band Explode the Machine are in E minor. And we're getting ready to record our first album, so I want to make the whole set sound as tight as possible. But I'm also going to be going for 432 Hertz tuning, which is slightly different than 440, but it's supposed to give a more resonant match with the environment. And there's a lot of good research out there, compelling, interesting research that explores this idea. And music actually used to be more closer in 432 back in its history, and now it's been changed up to 440. But I'm going to go for 432 and see what happens here. So we'll be starting with the bottom head. We'll seat it on. So once I got the rim on here, after this, the best thing to do is finger tighten the lug nuts now that the rim's on, because you want to give the most balanced pressure across the drum head. So now we're going to start to tighten up the various lug nuts here, and I've been using the drum dial lately, which is a pretty handy tool that reads the pressure according to this gauge here. As far as I can tell, the numbers on the gauge are kind of arbitrary as far as what that literally mean, but it will give you a gauge at least to where you have a reference point that you can balance and make the individual lug nuts as even pressure as possible. So we're going to start here with going small increments here. When I place it on initially, it's reading 48 on the dial. So I'm going to give it about a half a turn. It's about a full turn up to 50. And we'll go across. There's a lot of debate. This one I place it on, it's already at 51. So I'm just going to leave that alone real quick. There's a lot of debate about going spiral or around the circumference as you move around the lug nuts, or going in a star crisscross pattern. Okay, so I'm going through, and now just that one I started with is now the lowest one. They were all up around 51, 52 now. So there's just barely anything done on there yet. Still no definitive reading on the tuner there. Let's keep going up. The bottom head is traditionally tuned higher than the top head. I'll start to hear some cracks as the fresh head comes on. That's totally normal. Now we're up to 58. 58. So I'm trying to go through and make sure that all of them have the same reading. So that's 58. We're still gonna have to come up. Now in A, yeah, you want your bottom head tight. So I'm gonna keep going up. If we're at B now, I want to make it part of the E minor triad, so I'm going for E, G, B for our triad. So I'm already at B here, but we got to go up. Let's see if we can take it up to an E, hopefully. Okay, it actually is hovering around an E. You could hear there's still some of the difference in the tones though. And that is where I like to go in with my ear, and hopefully this tuner will continue to help too. You can still hear that. Bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong. This one needs to come up still. Just using my ear to make sure that the note around each lug note is the same. It's reading F still as you get it matched. And this is a 10-inch tom, so we're going to need a high-pitched punchy sound anyway. Since it doesn't want to go to E, I'm going to give it a little bit more. It's reading 68. I'm going to try and go to 70 down here. We'll see if we can take it up to G. So we'll do the minor third of the triad. Okay, that's good. That's what we're going to match it to, is the G. So bring it down. Okay, that's really tight. It's actually hanging around a G. Okay, now that one's ready. That one's done to G. No, time to do the other side. Okay, now it's time for the top head. We're using the clear Evans head. And for this one, since we wanted to go, top head is usually lower note than the bottom head. And since the bottom head was a G, I'm going to go for the E, the root E, just under that for the top head here. Get as tight as you can with your fingers. This one still has a few wrinkles in there, but it's not tightening anymore with my fingers. So now I'm just going to go in with the drum dial and our key here. First one is reading 45. 45. 48. 51, 48, 51. So let's take these are going to go, I'm going to match them all up to 51, which was the highest number so far. We want to go in small increments, remember? Okay, so I went back through the top and bottom head with my ear and the tuner, and the most balanced sound actually came at a B note for both sides, which is hanging at about 73 on the drum dial. So I noticed I kept getting a flat sound, like a diminished sound, a dampened sound out of the drum. It kept wanting to go match itself. So I took it to the same pressure, to the same note, and now the drum seems to sing a lot better. Still a slight overring. Almost a dissonance. Actually, now that I can hear this, as it settles, the bottom head is still actually went lower than the top head, so just give it a slight adjustment. Now that's pretty balanced sound hanging at a B. So I'll be taking that on the 10-inch here. That'll be taking the high fifth of the E minor triad. And now I've got a 12-inch, a 13-inch, and a 16-inch tom that I'll be working with. So the plan is to take a different note of that E minor triad as we go down. Okay, now I got all the new heads on, and I noticed it was a little more difficult to get it to the predetermined notes that I wanted to, without making the head feel like it was going into a place that it was not normal for the size of the drum. So I was working with the dial and to keep it balanced and even, and then also working with my ear and working with each individual drum head size to find that sweet spot. What I ended up getting for the 10-inch clear top and the ebony resonant head, 10-inch using the drum dial, I had 73 on both these sides. To get a G note. So I got a G for this top one as it's settled in. G note. That's for the 10-inch. For the 12-inch, we got 12-inch, we got 62 top, 69 bottom for the drum dial. So you can hear it slightly higher on here. There's an overall reading of an E for this, so there's a good root note. Then we have the, see, that was the 12-inch. This is the 13-inch. So the 13-inch got a 61 top and a 68 bottom. Okay, this is getting the A, reading A instead. So I'll have to come back to that. The 16-inch tom got a 52 top, 60 bottom in order to find the sweet spot. For roughly G to G sharp still. So they're still settling in. but I'm getting close to the E minor triad that I'm going for. Still some adjustment to do, and I'm sure as they settle in more that they'll get more closely manageable. For the snare, I did a 64 top, 68 bottom. Here's the sound without the snares on. So it's reading roughly a B note. So I got a nice perfect fifth there. Here's with the snares on. Got a nice crisp crack to it. A little bit of that overtone ring. So that could get helped out by just with a slight gel or so. But overall, pretty decent sound. Definitely a lot more detailed and bright and powerful than they were with the old heads on there. So the experiment continues. I'm going to let the drum sit overnight, and then hopefully tomorrow I'm going to give them just a slight loosen, so that way I could take them all back up evenly again and make sure they're hanging at the correct notes that I'm looking for, going for the E minor triad. Last thing is that if you want to take it to a different note structure, you go to a different chord. Say if you play a lot in drop D, you'd probably more be going for a D minor triad, DFA, or maybe you might even taken that ratio further into drop C or even drop B or something like that. But you'd still be following the same chord triads for whatever key you're looking to tune for. So I hope this video helped, and if you have any ideas or suggestions or comments, leave them below, and have fun rocking.